So 3 days, and we have made a kilometer's worth of progress. 1 kilometer in 3 days. I'm on a mission trying to drive 7,000 miles of off-road tracks inside of Europe. When I set out on this expedition in my Land Cruiser, I knew it was going to be tough. But this trail has been difficult on a level that I could never have imagined possible when I departed over 5 weeks previously. The tracks have taken me through some of the most remote and rarely seen parts of this continent, and the spectacular views I'm seeing every day have regularly left me speechless. But the route has also been brutal and unforgiving, threading its way sinuously through valley floors and around mountains, resulting in the insane statistic that you just heard: linear progress in miles in single digits after an entire day's worth of driving. But this expedition has also been dogged with mechanical problems, regular wheel and tyre disasters, and getting repeatedly bogged in Spain's infamous mud, resulting in almost comically slow progress, despite me throwing myself at this trail with all my might. When I strung this track together, 7,000 miles around the Iberian Peninsula, I thought that I might be able to complete it inside of 3 months. I'm now realising just how wrong I was. The old saying goes that it's not an adventure until something goes wrong, and with the veritable mountain of insane things that's happened on this track so far, I can say with utmost confidence that an adventure is something that I'm very much in the middle of. Right now, I'm in an isolated track network in the province of Asturias, Spain. After my latest wheel and tyre disaster on a mountainside, I'm currently travelling without a spare, something that any four-wheel drive enthusiast will tell you is a terrible idea. I've arranged for a new set of tyres and rims to be waiting for me in the city of Oviedo, but as you can see on this map, there's a whole lot of land, and no doubt insane four-wheel drive tracks between me and the city. I guess I better get moving, and hope that for once my luck holds out this time. Wow, wild horses, check it out. The repeated wonders that you just see from the cockpit of your vehicle driving through the Iberian Peninsula. Casually hanging out, 3 wild horses, Picos, Europa, up the wazoo. Great big bluffs of rock and just this wild wilderness land. Incredible, absolutely incredible. I continued on along the winding tracks into late morning. I'd been off grid for many days now, and this was one of those days that I was going to have to go back to civilization. I'm running low on supplies across the board. Fuel, food, water, I need to stock up on all of it. I'm just about as far as you get inside of Europe from any large population centres, but there are small villages around that might have what I need. So we are right now here navigating this mountainside, so you can see this is where we were yesterday. No, this is where we were the day before yesterday. How crazy is this? That's kind of how far we've come. So 3 days, and we have made about a kilometer's worth of progress. 1 kilometer in 3 days. You have to be strapped in on freaking trips like this because that is unbelievable. 1 kilometer in 3 days. Oh my god. Good job having a freaking great time, isn't it? So yeah, from here on out, we're gonna go down, and actually the trail is gonna drop into the valley and take us into, well, it's not exactly civilization, it's a village, but we might be able to find at least some water in this village, I would think. It's down there, I think, on the other side of that little hill there. And we'll go check out this little village, see if we can find some drinking water, at the very least. Hopefully try and find some other supplies, and if not, then maybe there'll be a larger town further down the route. Little did I know at that moment, however, there was a surprise waiting for me just around the corner that was going to bring those plans to a shuddering halt. Right. That's an interesting one. The Land Cruiser had stalled out on the trail. Well, I've just run out of fuel. God, I can't believe that. I've only done 341 kilometers. This vehicle doesn't have a fuel gauge. I just do it by, resetting the clock every time I go to a fuel station. Yeah, I can't believe that. Usually I get 450 kilometers out of a tank, but I guess I've been using 90 loads, and I've been doing a lot of real intense four-wheel driving, so I suppose it's used a lot more than I usually use, but goddamn, 341, that's a full 100 kilometers less than I usually get. I mean, it's fine because I have a jerry can on the back for instances exactly like this. But yeah, that's crazy. Full, well, more than 100 kilometers. There you go. Who'd have thought? Well, a spectacular place for it, and the weather's good, and it's not freezing cold, so for all that, I'm pretty happy. So now I'm gonna get the fuel can off the back. I'm gonna find my filling nozzle out. I just bought a rigid one. I used to run like a rubber one. It was an absolute pain in the ass because it means you have to like support the weight of the jerry can the entire time while you're filling. So with this rigid one, I'm hoping that it'll kind of self-support its own weight, which will be nice. So yeah, I'm gonna find the key for that, get it off, go in the back, find my nozzle, and then we'll fill the bugger up. So that's my new one, rigid, with a rubber cap. Yeah, so hopefully this will be a bit better. NATO jerry cans. It's not all that much, it's not a full can. I thought it was, but it's not. Yeah, that's way easier. Way better than flexible spout. Still a bit of effort to fill, but nowhere near the weight that you have to carry with a flexible. Over the course of 5 minutes or so, I dispensed the contents of the jerry can into the tank. Alright, so I was just shy of a tank, and so that should get us around about 100 k's to find a fuel station. It should be enough. There's that village down there, I don't think has a fuel station, but there should be a larger one across the next valley. Going out into the valley, I'm out of everything. Fuel, water, food, literally everything. I've been in the bush for days and days and days. Now, it's more than likely that the vehicle won't start now because I've ran it dry. So yeah, we'll probably have to pump that diesel through from the tank using the hand pump, but we'll see to that in a second. Let's go see if this thing starts. I suspect it will not, but let's see. Dry as well. Okay. All a bit of fun, innit? When you run a vehicle dry like I just done, you end up trying to pull up air from the fuel tank. That air then sits in the lines that go from the tank to the fuel pump. A mechanical pump, like the one on this old diesel, is designed to pull fuel through, but it doesn't have the power to suck through all that air. That makes it necessary to get physical with it, and pump the diesel up from the tank by hand, using the primer pump located on top of the fuel filter. Okay, so when you do this, you've got to pull the return line like that. And then this way, it means that when you pump it through using the hand pump, the diesel is going to come through, otherwise you just get like an airlock inside. So once I pump that through, we're going to see diesel pissing out of here. That will mean that there's diesel at the pump, and we can put the line back on and start the vehicle in theory. So yeah, let's get to this. Usually, you know, you pump it for a while and the diesel comes through. That's a bit of a concern, that one, honestly. I don't know why that wouldn't be working, whether it's a problem with the compression on the hand pump. No, don't know. Cannot figure that one out. Let's go try and crank it and see if that does anything, although I suspect it's not going to. Cranking it at this point had been just enough to clinch it and allow the mechanical fuel pump to pull up diesel from the tank, letting the old beast splutter into life once again. Yeah! Alright, so that must have been right at the point at which it was going to come out. Maybe if I just carried on pumping it a bit longer, then it would have worked. But yeah, there we go. Ready to go. Nicely reset. Yeah, that's really good news. Let's carry on, go find a fuel station, get some drinking water, man, because yeah, I've totally run out now and I'm a bit parched, to be honest. Head down this frickin' mountain, eh? I gotta show you this. So this is like the actual ridge line of a mountaintop here. So down there, 1,000 meter drop into that valley down there. And then as we go a little further along this, down there, about a 700 meter drop into the valley below. So this is the ridge line of this mountain, which separates these two valleys. What a trail this is. This is unbelievably cool. And between it all, this is the trail. And you can see it right here on the map. So we are right here, and that's the mountain dropping off that side and that side. This is so sick. And you know what else is crazy? That would have been a great camping space. This tree is trying to cause me a problem here. Let me see if I can push it out the way with the vehicle, or whether I'll have to do something else. This is what you need bush cables for, really. Oof, it's catching quite nastily. Okay, yeah, just snapped it clean in half. You know, Land Cruiser power, baby. You can spend literally weeks up here. I haven't seen a single soul on this mountain the entire time I've been here. I've been on this mountain for 3 days now. Like, well, between that, the mad thing about that is, between that mountain over there, which is the one that I was 3 days ago, above it is the Picos de Europa. But yeah, not seen a single soul inside of 3 days, which to me is absolutely wild. This place is true wilderness. There's no one coming around here. I wasn't long on the trail before another fallen tree was blocking my path. This one, I don't really want to push with the car. That looks like it could damage the vehicle, so I'm going to chop it. Or at least, if I'm not going to chop it, I'll see if I can push it off the track. Yeah, it's very much worthwhile endeavour just to save the side of the vehicle. Everything is tinder dry around here, like even up here in North Spain. You know, you can see why they have restrictions in place, because you can see how it could go up in flames so easily. Like that was super dry. It's like matchwood, tinder wood. Like really light, honestly, for the size of tree that it is. Okay, so I've located a fuel station. It's about 45 minutes away from here. Fortunately, it's not all that far from the trail, so I'm going to continue on this trail for 25-30 minutes and then divert off to the town. Parts of this trail are actually seriously washed out, like quite unexpectedly mad, you know, big chasms sort of like a meter deep. Alright, so we're now well and truly back inside the tree line now. You see deciduous trees now alongside the pine. That means we're getting a lot lower and there's evidence of farming and stuff. So yeah, we're going back to civilization, getting back down below pretty high altitude for the first time in almost 4 days now. Just an example of the adventure that you can have inside of Europe. People say, you know, oh, it's tame and Europe is overpopulated, built up, tame, no adventure. Well, look at this, man. I've just been above the tree line in the mountains, 4-wheel driving for 4 days in Spain. Haven't seen another soul. And this is one tiny part of northern Spain, so anybody who tells you can't have adventure in Europe, they're lying to you, and you need to go see for yourself just the amazing things that you can find. The signs of human habitation were now popping up all around me as I plotted a course towards the nearest population centre to stock up on all the supplies that I needed. I'm going to head down into this town here in the valley, find the fuel station. It's now 4.5 k's away. My route took a turn onto paved road for the first time in many days, and I crossed over first a tiny road bridge over a river, and second over a single line railway track, before I hit the main road that would take me into the town. So funny, I'm seeing Santander, 134 kilometers as on this road to get to Santander. I passed Santander 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago maybe. God, we need to pick up the pace here, man. I pulled into the fuel station first, planning to fill up both my tank and that one jerry can I'd emptied earlier. Okay, so diesel 139 here. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that price, but there's not a drop of water around here. Having filled up the tanks, I headed on further into the town, passing spectacular ruins as I searched for a supermarket. This is the supermarket that I need to go to. Who'd have thought? Everybody knows me here. So the guy at the fuel station, he was pulled in with his Land Cruiser, and he pulled out a reel. He was like, "This is you." I was like, "Yeah, it is, man." Alright, so I'm back in from the Mercadona. I got these things, they're like fresh pastries and stuff, actually really good. It's like a chicken empanada. I have some like, I don't know what these things are, sweet, cakey things that look really good. I also got a box of grapes. I really felt like I needed some like healthy stuff. I'm just gonna basically eat all of this right now, including the entire box of grapes. I've got food. The only thing I need now is tank water. I can live without it if I absolutely have to for another day, but I'd much rather have it. Right, so we're done with that. Got everything apart from tank water. So yeah, we're heading back to the trail now. How old do you reckon that is? This might have been a town, but it was still extremely rural. I love all the abandoned buildings like that. So evocative. I wonder who built them, how old they are, how many lives were lived out in those walls. Wow. That same beautiful colour, blue. Must be full of minerals or something like that. This is gorgeous too. Look at this tree line path. Wow. This is really cool. I decided to take a different path back to the trail where I'd left off, using first this tree-lined pathway, and then diverting through the colourful Casco Viejo, or historic centre of the town. Quaint, sleepy, beautiful little towns. Man, like I'd love to stop in every one of these and have a beer or a coffee. I bet each of these has its own individual personality and culture and such like, but yeah, you know, if I stopped in every one, I'd be here 20 years rather than the projected 10. That's the thing about travel, man, is that like, there's never enough time to see it all, you know? I was now heading back out of civilization into the wild and remote high-altitude interior of Asturias. From here, my trail would take me deep into the mountains, before spitting me out onto the western side, close to the state's capital city, Oviedo. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Puedo pasar por aquí? Sí, gracias. Gracias, gracias. Tiniest little villages and streets and stuff like. It's so cool to see. There's people's way of life out here. I've just been like climbing mountains and going down into valleys and repeating this all day through the tiniest hamlets. Tons of different options here. I need to work out where to go because My satellite's dropped out, but look at this. That, I think, is a World War II era sand ladder. I'm looking for a place to camp now, to be honest. I think that one might offer us our best bet. Go all the way along that mountain. Well, far from finding a campsite, we're heading up onto a high moor. So I think the views are a bit spectacular, but it's getting towards sundown now. And yeah, it's honestly not what I was kind of aiming towards. But we take the rough with the smooth in this game. You know that by now. Okay. It's meant to be the route. Alright, drop down into the low fall for this one then. God. This was true wild and remote adventure four-wheel drive, and in places the track disappeared entirely. Oh my God. This is the kind of driving that I absolutely love, but being out here at sundown with no viable spare did not feel like the wisest sequence of choices I'd ever made. Honestly, this could well be a good place to make camp. See what this crack is with this little barn. Yeah. Yep, that's a barn. Someone's been tapping off the old supply. God, this is an old ass barn. I mean, we could camp down here. It's a bit damp, that's the only thing. You know, after all the times that I've done this on this trip, like, oh yeah, I'll just carry on and see what I can find. But I think I am going to go carry on and see what I can find on this instance. It's beautiful around here. It's just that I know that tomorrow I'm going to have to go into Oviedo, a fair bit further on the trail. I have to work tomorrow as well, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think we'll carry on a bit. Watch me live to regret those words. I pushed on up the mountainside into twilight, gaining altitude with every metre on this wild, rugged trail cut into the side of this incline. Man, this is jaw-droppingly beautiful as per usual for Spain. It's so much fun, man, it really is. Like these mountains just like azure blue in the distance on the horizon. Look at this, man. No way, brother. I can't even see where the hell the track goes here, man. Oh, mate, you're kidding. No way, bro. Mate, this is a real four-wheel drive shit, this. That is so cool, man. What the hell? Oh my god, what a place, bro. This was, without a doubt, one of the most beautiful, remote and rugged places that I've been so far on the trail. Oh, that has got to be the campsite, hasn't it, for the night? That one has to be the one. I spotted an old abandoned quarry out to my left, and I knew immediately that was the place that I was going to spend the night. I reckon this is our spot for the night. I just saw this little culvert. It's like what I assume is an old quarry, just off the side of the trail here. Bit wet down in there, but this bit is just perfect. God, it's so peaceful. Dude. I climbed up on the hill above the Land Cruiser to take in the last rays of the sun disappearing over the horizon. Oh, that's the cruiser down there, and that's where I'm going to camp. But check this out. Over that valley is the sunset, so it's the west. And over that valley is absolutely spectacular too. And so I brought my chair up here to observe all these valleys. And also an Estrella Galicia. So yeah, I feel like it's well earned. I haven't drank in about 5 days, but tonight I feel like I want a beer. Oh, is there any sweeter sound, baby? As predicted, that is going down an absolute storm. Wherever you are in the world, cheers. Oh, this is nice, man. This is a really nice end to the day. It's been a great day. It's a really good day of driving. Woke up on the side of that mountain. It was fantastic. And now I'm sorted with the tyres, it seems, anyway. So yeah, all in all, absolutely brilliant result on all counts. Yeah, feeling pretty good. Tomorrow going to Oviedo. I'm going to rent an apartment there for a couple of days, a few days, while I get these tyres sorted and while I do a bunch of work, so I can afford to put fuel in the tank and carry on. Today has been teaching me even more than previous days that this trip is going to take a long bloody time. Especially that whole thing with running out of fuel and it being like, yeah, I get a 350 kilometer range at altitude in 4-low. I think about between 6,000 and 8,000 miles. I'm getting 350 and it's costing me €100. I mean, do the mathematics on that. Thousands and thousands of euros are going into diesel, which was always going to be the way. Let alone the idea of how long this is going to take me, my Schengen visa, of which I only have 3 months at a time. Financial burden of buying diesel at all times might actually become a problem. I might have to stop to work more to put fuel in the tank. There's all kinds of things going through my head right now. But anyway, enough of that for now. I'm here. I'm on the top of a mountain in Asturias. There's a sunset that way. There's a beautiful valley that way. I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks for being along for the ride.